Hey, what's up everyone? It's your girlfriend Shanae, and today I'll be sharing with you my June mid-month wrap-up, so please stay tuned. And I am back, and also if you're new to my channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. So like I said before, I'll be sharing with you my June mid-month wrap-up. I am really amazed at how fast June is going. This month has been great. It has been really hot, and I know here in Columbus, a lot of people have lost power due to the heat. Their power grid just can't take it. But anywho, besides the heat and stuff, and oh man, just is exhausting. I have been reading. I read a few books. Well, not a few. I would guess you would think it would be considered a lot, but most of them are picture books because I've been reading a lot with my kids and stuff, and all that. And last week was my daughter's last week of first grade, so she'll be moving on to second grade, and I'm so proud of her. She's done a fantastic job. She has definitely has been exceeding expectations and stuff, even during the fact that the pandemic had happened when she was in pre-K, and now she's about to be a second grader. It's just mind-blowing. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this mid-month wrap-up. So this first book, I had done a book review alone with just this book because it definitely hit a lot of hard topics that people need to discuss. It still needs to be discussed, and things and changes still need to occur. And that is Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. I'll leave the link up above so you can check out my book review. I did give this a 5 out of 5 stars. If you haven't read this book, I really suggest you pick it up. There are content warnings within this book, so definitely I will let y'all know that as well at the very beginning of that book review, just so you won't be so surprised or triggered or anything like that. But yeah, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I really love this book, even though it did talk about some hard topics, but like I said, these talks with what this book is about needs to still be talked about. Things have to change. Things and what's occurring in this book is still occurring today in 2022, which I say that a lot in my book review. And like I said, talks and discussions need to continually happen in order for things to change. And I really pray and hope that changes will take place. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars for Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. Like I said, I'll leave that video up above so you can check out that book review. So for this next book, I had done a Brandon Sanderson 24-hour readathon vlog, and it was for the Alloy of Law. If y'all haven't seen that vlog, I will let y'all know. It's a little spoilery, y'all, like y'all know that, and then I literally tell y'all how I feel about this book. And just from reading the Mistborn Era 1, this was definitely not giving for me. It definitely, I don't know what it was, but I was just not vibing with it. The only thing, like I said, was just the love interest that really kept me going. I was more intrigued about that besides anything else. But I did give it a 3 out of 5 stars. So if you want to check out that vlog, you'll definitely be up above for this. Me and Bree are still continuing on with the Brandon Sanderson read along, and we're reading the second era, Mistborn Era 2. And then the next book, which I believe is Shadow of Self and the Bands of Mourning, we'll also be reading that, and we'll be reading 2 novellas. One is Alamance or Jack, and the other one is the Mistborn Secret History, I believe. Hopefully I said that right. If not, it'll be right here. But yeah, so I don't know. I can definitely tell why people don't really don't care for these books. And now I know why. It's definitely a modern take from the Era 1 to this. Definitely modern, especially when there's guns in this one. So they still got carriages though. But it's definitely a modern take for this. I definitely gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was definitely a fast read. I did read it in a day. And I did tab it up, and well, not tab it up. I used washi tape and stuff, if you can tell, and then I did that little part for that one page because it definitely was some information that I did wanted to know, and I just wanted to remember that page particularly, especially since we're going to be doing our live discussion next month. I believe it's going to be on the 9th. We'll be doing it in the evening, so if you definitely check that out. as well when we do have our live discussion, just in case you want, you know, the whole scoop on these books, just in case if you are interested in reading them. But yeah, this is Brandon Sanderson's book, Mistborn Heir 2, and yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read, it was a novella from Brandon Sanderson, which is like I said, since we're reading the Heir 2, we're also going to be reading the novellas that go along with it. We have a specific order that we're reading these books, and so this book in particular is Alamance Jack and the Pits of Eltania. And I actually like this one. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, but I really enjoyed it. I love Jax. I loved like the love interest he had, you know, with his love of his life and stuff, and he was trying to save her, and then come to find out she's Koloss blooded and all that. It was just really good information, especially if we want to know like how Koloss are made, and then like the treasure that he ends up getting, and information, detail of that, which is very crucial to Heir 2, and also Mistborn, the whole Mistborn series. So I gave it was a good novella. It was really short. It's like maybe 20 to 30 pages, so it wasn't that long, but I do appreciate the story because it did give me more information about the Koloss and how like they do have kids, of course, but they aren't able to make more Koloss, you know, full-blown Koloss. Right? So we end up knowing more information about that and about the spikes, what Kelsey are left behind. So yeah, it was a good time. So I definitely gave it a 3 out of 5 stars for this one. Now, these next 7 books, these are picture books. These are children's books that I have read with my kids, and we have loved every single one of them. So the first one is going to be Eyes That Kiss in the Corners. This is by Joanna Ho. This was such a beautiful book, and my kids enjoyed it. I loved how, when expressing about the main character and how her eyes, like the corner of her eyes kiss and stuff, and how she loves her mom and her mom loves her as well, and she's considered as a miracle, and just I feel like accepting yourself and knowing that you're beautiful regardless of what people tell you that you are. I just thought that how it was written was so well done, so beautifully written, and my kids appreciated the most, and that's why, of course, we all gave it a 5 out of 5 stars for this book. Like I said, if you haven't picked this picture book up, even if you don't even have children or anything like that, or if you don't have nieces, I suggest you still pick it up because it's still a beautiful book, and I just love it so much, and I will continue on reading this book with my kids. So yeah, like I said, we gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Now, this next book, my son loved this so much, just because there's a boy on the cover. So he was just so enthralled with this alone, just because there's a boy on the cover. Because he always keeps saying, I read a lot of girly books and stuff, and it's not fair. So I try to equal it out as best as I can for Kiana and my son Keandre. So this next book is All Because You Matter. This is by Tammy Charles. This was such a phenomenal book, because regardless of what your name is, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless on where you come from or where you live, you still matter. And I love how it brings us up, because a lot of kids, especially nowadays in this world and what they see on TV and our government, and they see things. These kids are smart, you know, and what happened to Uvalde, the school, and the children, I did have a talk with my kids about it, and they understood, and they're like, how come there's bad people in this world? And you know what, I just told them, you know, there's always going to be bad people in this world, but there are also some good people in this world. And I feel like as people, as human beings, we need to see each other, you know, as human beings. And we also need to see each other as we all matter, because people in this world disagree with that. They don't think all lives matter, or they don't think that particular person matters because of the color of their skin. We are human beings. We all should matter. Even as my son, he was like, do I matter? And I was like, you do matter. You do matter. Don't let no one tell you any different. You do matter. Keandre. That's his name, Keandre. Keandre, you do matter. Don't let no one say that you don't let anyone say that you can't do something because you are this way, or that because of the color of your skin. Do not allow them to get into your head, because they're trying to bring you down and bring down your spirit. And I love this book. All because you matter, because children matter. They are our future. They matter. And for some people to tell kids, or some people to tell some kids that they don't matter, that's a serious problem. And that needs to definitely, something needs to happen with that, because no one should ever tell a child that they don't matter because, the color of their skin or their name. It just, they wouldn't be able to get a job because their name is just ghetto. Like, it's insane. It's insane on what comes out of people's mouths. Even as adults, it's crazy. Like, do you hear yourself? Like, do you get it? Like with the whole James Patterson thing. Did you hear did you hear what came out of your mouth? Did you hear yourself? And now you want to renege what you say? Like, no, obviously you meant it when it came out your mouth the first time. So don't try to take back what you said, because you said it. And usually when somebody says that, they mean it when they say it. So there's that. And I do feel like all kids matter. Everyone matters. And I loved this book so much. And I just love the cover, because my son, he was just, oh my God, there's a boy on the cover. So we all, of course, my son, I let him do the rating. He gave it a 5 stars. And then my daughter was like, yeah, this was a really good book. I gave it a 5 too. So we all gave it a 5 stars. And this cover was just phenomenal. But I love I love the cover. I love the book. And like I said, everyone matters. All children matter. And I love the title that says, all because you matter. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars for this book right here. This next book, it mostly was for my daughter, because because she did have locks, but she decided she wanted to take them out. So we took them out and she has braids now. But prior to that, she loved her locks, but she had people in her ear saying that they look a hot mess. And I had to tell her that her hair is beautiful and do not let anyone say otherwise, because your hair is gorgeous. It is your crown. You better rock your hair because it is beautiful. But anyway, the book that we read together was Hair Love by Matthew A. Cherry. We gave this a 5 out of 5 stars instantly. And I was just telling not just my daughter, but my sons to embrace your hair, because your hair is beautiful. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And I feel like with most of these books that we read, all like the picture books we read, all like intertwined together, because it talks about how you matter, how your hair is beautiful, how you are beautiful as a person. Regardless of your background, but regardless of the color of your skin. And with this book, Hair Love, I really wanted my daughter to know, like, I tell her this every day, that she's so beautiful and that her hair is beautiful. Just because there's always people saying crap about locks, and it's not true. And I had to put them in check, and it was family members, and it was like, me and my husband were like, no, leave her alone. Her hair is beautiful. Don't say this. Don't stop saying this, because you are basing this off of stereotypes. And that has brought locks to be a bad thing. Which we also had to correct them when they called them dreads. No. They're locks. Locks. And they are beautiful. But she did eventually say she wanted to take her locks out, which was fine. There was no problem with that. Her hair is still beautiful regardless of the style that she has. Her hair is beautiful and long and lustrous. Like, I love her. And she loves her hair. And she's like, oh yeah, can I take my locks out and get braids with beads? I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. And yes, it did take a while to get those locks out. I'm not gonna lie. It was definitely a process, but it was worth it. She's happy with her braids and everything. And she still loves her hair. She still loves her hair regardless of what people had said about her locks and everything. I think sometimes that she did feel like she wasn't beautiful because she had those locks because of what people told her. But I do believe like she knew deep down that she was beautiful, and me and her dad kept reminding her that you are beautiful and your locks are beautiful. your hair is beautiful and you should love your hair. And she's like, oh my gosh, Mom, I will always love my hair. And she kept whipping it back and forth and stuff, even when she had her locks in. And to this very day, she still does whip her hair back and forth because she says she loves her hair. So I'm really happy that she loves her hair. But anyway, for Hair Love, we gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and it was such a great read. The next book that we read was Juneteenth, and this was by Vonda Michelle Nelson. And I read this to my kids because they know about Juneteenth, but not in detail, and how Juneteenth came about. This was such a great book. I know there's other books that talk about Juneteenth that I do want to get, because I think this book was great, but I feel like there's books that are more in depth, I believe. But I really enjoyed this book, reading this to my children, and they are so happy about Juneteenth and everything. They just love it. We do celebrate Juneteenth. And I know some people, I don't know everyone that celebrates it, but I know that we do, and we're just gonna have fun. And they were just so, my kids love their skin. They love being Black. My son was like, Black is beautiful. And I'm like, it made me cry because I feel like I'm doing something right, right? Like, because I want them to embrace themselves and embrace who they are, because they are beautiful, they are precious, they are phenomenal. And I'm just, it brought me to tears because I'm like, I'm doing something right and letting them know them they are beautiful, and you just definitely should have confidence and show that you're beautiful, pep in your step. So you know, I'm doing something right. And, you know, there's no manual for being a parent. You know, it's mostly trial and error, you know. But for my kids to say that they love their skin, they love who they are, like I said, I feel like I'm doing something right. And so, yeah, we love this book. We gave this also 5 out of 5 stars. I do want to get some more Juneteenth books. Let me know if you have any recommendations down below in the comments, because I do want to get some more books of Juneteenth. So let me know. But yeah, we gave this book a total of 5 out of 5 stars as a rating. So there's that. This next book we read was 'Twas the Night Before Pride, and this is by Joanna McClintock. This was a good book as well. I read this to my kids. I read this by myself as well multiple times, and we all, like, I loved it so much. My kids loved it so much, about acceptance and, you know, loving yourself, not letting people say anything different about you. Don't let anybody bring you down. And like I said before, a lot of these books that we read together intertwine with one another, because it's talking about you love yourself and you have pride in yourself, and that you aren't going to let anyone tell you that you are something else, that you don't deserve to be on this earth, and blah, 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 blah. Everyone has a purpose on this earth. Everyone is beautiful, and you shouldn't be putting anybody in a box. Don't do that. Don't do that. And for this, just talking about being prideful about who you are, and embracing who you are, and just the power that you have within yourself, of embracing, of having that power of being confident, having that power to know that you matter. And I enjoyed this book. Gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. My kids also loved it as well. So 5 out of 5 stars for 'Twas the Night Before Pride. And so, yeah, love this book. And I definitely will be reading it more this month as well. So 5 out of 5 stars for this one. Now for this next one, this was for my son. Like I said, I'm trying to equal it out because my son will get so mad. He's like, where's the boys? So this one is Crown, an Ode to the Fresh Cut, and this is by Derek Barnes. We gave this a 5 out of 5. Well, excuse me. My son gave this a 5 out of 5 stars because it's talking about the main character and how embracing your haircut, and your haircut is your crown. And when you go to the barber, that's like your time to just talk to other men and young men about how fantastic they are about getting your haircut, and how each haircut is like your own, and it's like your own type of swagger that you bring. And my son, he loves getting his hair cut. He has braids like in the center, and then it's like I think my husband said is tapered, and not a fade. He definitely explained to me like a fade and taper is two different things. He had to break it down to me because I don't know much about haircuts in particular. I'm getting better at it. But yeah, my son loves getting his hair cut. He's like, oh my God, look at me. Like, I look good. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I love my son. But the fact that he loves his crown, he loves his hair on top of that, and loves the haircuts that he gets, it's amazing. And I love how it shows the confidence in young men when they get their haircut. Like, it's just amazing. And so when he constantly tells me he wants to read this book, so we've been reading it almost every other night because my daughter was like, no, that's not fair, we can't read it every night. So when it's her turn, so her turn, then his turn, her turn, then his turn, for books that they pick for that night. But yeah, A Crown, an Ode to the Fresh Cut. Love this book. So 5 out of 5 stars. The next picture book we have is In a Whirl, and this is by Helen Bethune. This was also a great book. It talks about a girl who has like ambitions and what she wants to do when she grows up, especially when it comes to animals. And my daughter actually appreciated this a lot because she loves animals, and she was thinking about being a veterinarian. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, you got to go to school for that. She's like, oh yeah, I know that. I want to go to school. I want to go to college and go to medical school and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, a veterinarian school. Like, and so she saw herself in this book, and we really enjoyed this. We gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And we'll constantly still be reading this because this is just like, she loves animals and she loves taking care of animals. Even when she has her stuffed animals, she pretends like they're real and she takes care of them, and she pretends like she's not McStuffin. But yeah, we gave this also a 5 out of 5 stars. And lastly, this book was absolutely amazing. This is a queer YA Afro Latinx horror novel, and it was just so good. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I read it in one day, and that is Burn Down, Rise Up by Vincent Tirado. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. If not, I do apologize. And the cover was giving, and then if you take the dust jacket off, this is what it looks like. And it was just such an amazing book. It's following characters. Raquel, who is the main character, they're also following Charlize, who is a girl that she really likes, but she doesn't know how to tell her that. And then she has her best friend Aaron, who also likes Charlize as well. And Raquel doesn't want to step on his toes because she feels like there's a code for that, and you shouldn't be going for the same girl that your best friend is trying to go for. But you know, there was a turn with that, and of course, you know, Raquel and Charlize told each other that they like each other. It just took them a while to get there because they were scared, which is fine. But first off with this book, it's definitely creepy. It's following like a game called The Echo, where you have 3 rules you have to follow. If you break just one rule, you're stuck in that realm, in that dimension. And when I was reading this book, it gave me like Stranger Things vibes, and I really liked it. I hybrid read this, so I had the audio and then I also read it physically. And it was just amazing, and especially like how with the parasite, which was the cover that I showed you when I took the dust jacket off, it was poisoning people. And one of the main characters was Cisco, which is Charlize's cousin, and he was trying to get away, but he did break rules. But as he was trying to get back to his family and to tell them what happened, he got stuck in that dimension. But prior to him getting stuck, he was infecting people, and one of those people is Raquel's mom, who's in the hospital with some type of parasite, some type of mold, black mold that's infecting all these people. And she's going to, and so herself and Charlize and Aaron are just go to the Echo, and they see the slumlord who talks about, you know, there's certain things about the Bronx because they're in the Bronx, and about how, you know, promises weren't kept and stuff like that. It's really good. So they go to this dimension, and of course Charlize ends up breaking that rule, and so Raquel comes back out, but she needs to go back in to not only save Cisco but to save Charlize because she really likes Charlize. And she did express that to Aaron as well, which he wasn't happy at first, but then he got over it. But even prior to Cisco disappearing, many children have been disappearing from the Bronx. Like, continuously, and they don't know where these children are. So Raquel has the courage to do so, and she does save Charlize, and she does save Cisco, and Aaron also is with them as well, and she also defeats the slumlord, who was also part of the Echo, who was like the master of the Echo. And they're pretty much, the Echo is like a game that people think is like a lot of kids do. Sometimes I feel like in this book they think it's like a rite of passage to conquer the Echo. But it's so much more in this book. I do not want to spoil it for you all. That was just the gist. That was like a little summary of what the book is about. But like the 3 rules, it says there were only 3 rules to live by for the next hour if we wanted to survive. So rule number 1, before 3 a.m., but no earlier than 2:45 a.m., flip a coin 3 times to decide between 2 directions. Rule number 2, begin the journey the minute it is 3 a.m. and chant "We are echo bound" 3 times. Continue in the direction chosen. And then rule number 3, do not end the journey before 4 a.m. If you try, you will become part of the journey. Which is the case. A lot of people have been part of the journey and they still haven't left the dimension, even after like Raquel has saved her cousin. Raquel has saved Charlize's cousin and Charlize herself. There are still people stuck in that dimension. So yeah, this was a phenomenal book. Like, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I have no complaints about it. And I just love Raquel. So, like, she killed it. Like, love the main character. Just amazing. But that is it. Those are all the books I've read so far in June. I believe that's a total of 11 books, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this June mid-month wrap up. I know it's been crazy. It's been a crazy month, but we are all getting through it, and we're so close to being close to, it's about to be July, like as we know it. So definitely get your reading done and get all the books that you can in for this month. But I really hope everyone's having a great day, a great week, a great month, and I hope everyone stays healthy and stay safe. See ya.